Hi everyone, welcome back to another December daily video. I am working on day 18 today. So I'm working on the back of this full page photo. So this was my last day 17 spread. So I've added some trim there and I've sewn that on. So I can just go ahead and adhere some pattern paper to the back of my photo now. I did have this paper in as part of my foundation pages, but it's just too much red. It's way too much red. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm probably going to map my photo with it so that I have a little pop of red. But yeah, I'm going to switch this out. I think I'm going to use this instead. This is one that I had earlier in my album as a foundation page and I ended up taking it out, so this might be a good time to pop that in. And on this side I'm going to be working in this 2x2 pocket, so I thought this would be a fun opportunity to use a bunch of the Snapchat selfies that I took with my kids. So this page is going to be this photo of my son with his Christmas colouring in. I'm going to trim that down quite a bit though. And then on this side I have a bunch of little photos. These are all going to be 2x2, and obviously I have a bunch. I have a bunch and I couldn't choose, so I thought what I would do is what I did I think on day one is have some of these go inside the pocket and be a flip up. So these ones are going to be just scored in half, be flipped up, and then have a photo on the outside as well, so that way I can get 2 photos on each pocket, and then I have 3 extra, so I should be able to fit all of those in my pockets and then have an extra pocket for my number. So I have the other page. I have quite a few little chipboard bits and pieces in these pockets. I'm probably not going to use them all, but yeah, so okay, that's where I'm at this point, so let's jump in. Okay, so this is the second time I'm recording this voiceover because my computer decided to just restart in the middle, well, more than halfway through doing the voiceover, so that's fun. I'm also recording this in November. I filmed this in January, so if I say something weird or out of context, that's going to be why. I'm just coming through now and doing what I said I was going to do, adhering that pattern paper to the back of my full page photo. I did run a line of tacky glue down over the top of that stitching there just to make sure that definitely stays and doesn't come undone. And then I'm coming through and just trimming off that excess overhang from my photo, just following where my photo sits, trimming that off. And then I'm going to just fix up those little holes where they're not lining up very well, and now they look funky on the back, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to cover those up with some hole reinforcers. These are just homemade ones that I punched out of glitter paper. I made a ton for this project and I have plenty left over to use this year again, which is great. So now I am just chopping down that photo of my son. That was a full 4x6 photo, so it definitely doesn't need to be that big. I just want to keep him and the colouring in the picture. And then matting it on that bright red and white polka dot, just for that little pop of bright colour. And now I'm going through some of the chipboard I have left. I actually managed to use up a surprising amount of that chipboard from that Rosie Studio collection. I can't remember the name of the collection, but it was from last year, from 2020, one of their Christmas collections. And I'm also going to try and use some of these puffy titles because I haven't used all that many of them yet in this project. So I do use a few of them by the end. And those are also from that Rosie Studio collection. Just getting my photo positioned. I am going to end up using that chipboard tree, which I've been trying to find a good place for it throughout this album. I really wanted to get it in there and I managed to get it on this page, so I'm really pleased with that. And then just going to overlay my little fun there. I'm just going to pop Fa La La at the top in that little space above my photo. I did just have to cut out the footage of me putting that down because it glitched weirdly. I'm also going to add some of those cute little puffy stars from that title pack and this sweet little string of lights from the ephemera pack from that same Rosie Studio collection. Just snip off that excess. It just fits nicely up in that top section there. And then I'll go back through the ephemera and I found this little gift. I just really wanted to kind of fill in this weird space below the tree, and I really love how that looks there. So that is that day, or that side of that day, all finished. So now moving on to this little pocket page. I'm just going to trim down all those photos I have printed out. I just kind of estimated how big to make those because the program I use doesn't actually give you kind of measurements for the collage. It's kind of hard to explain. But I'm just going through and trimming them down a little bit smaller than the pocket because I'm going to layer up quite a few layers of kind of photo paper and pattern paper on the back, etc. You'll see what I mean more when I do the other side. But I'm just going here and I just put them in the pocket and marked the spot where they hit the fold or the top of the pocket. And then I'm scoring a line across that mark I'm just using my paper trimmer and my bone folder because I don't have a scoreboard. This works just fine. And I'm just really sharpening up that crease with my bone folder as well to make sure they sit as flat as possible. They don't sit perfectly flat because they are photo paper and they are quite thick. They kind of sit like that, popped up when the page is open, but when the page is closed, they sit flat just fine. I'm not too bothered about it. And I'm just really happy I got so many photos on this one little pocket page insert. So for this photo, it's just a single, it's not a long photo, so I've just made a piece of just plain cardstock, I think it is, to just continue on with the whole flip up thing. I didn't want to not have one be a flip up, and I will still put a photo on the outside of this one. I'm just going to go through and trim that down. Snapchat selfies are so fun to do with the kids. They really, really love it, and they really engage with it and look at the camera properly because they love the filters. So yeah, it's pretty fun. All right, I'm just going and cutting down these ones that would go on the front of the flip up a bit smaller so I can add a pattern paper border. And I'm just going to add some of the clear stickers from the Hey Santa sticker book on the inside of this flip because it was going to be empty otherwise, and I struggle to use clear stickers, especially these kind of crepe paper ones, because I use a lot of pattern paper, so it's rare for me to just use kind of white. So I like being able to use them up. All right, so on the front of the flips, I'm going to add a few different pattern papers, just really to create a border for the photos I'm going to stick on the front. So just sticking them down and then trimming off the excess there. So like that. And then for this one, I'm going to use this cute mint grid paper. So the paper I used for this December daily was mostly the crepe paper Hey Santa collection. I'm pretty sure I had the paper pad. I still got heaps left. I've been trying to use it up. I used it after I finished this December daily. I used it to create a pocket page advent calendar for a swap, and I still have barely made a dent, even though I used up heaps of paper doing that. So anyway, there we go. And I'll do the same with this one. So I'm just sticking those smaller photos right on the front of those flips. Super cute. And for this one, I'm going to use that red, I think, yeah. And I love this photo because I managed to get my husband unsuspectingly in the background of this photo, and it applied the filter with the cute little Santa ears and the bow, which I just think is great. I love that. Okay, so I want to add my number to this chipboard piece. I have this little snow globe, and I want it to be kind of in the pocket on its own. I don't want to put pattern paper behind it. I like to have some see-through elements. I don't want it to move around too much. So what I'm going to do is just cut out this little bit of acetate and stick it straight onto that. So you still have that kind of clear pocket element, but it's not going to move around. And then I am taking my numbers. You can see I punched out a circle of that peachy, orangey, pinky pattern paper. And I'm just going to stick that right on the back of that snow globe because it was just the kind of white back of that chipboard piece, which I wasn't loving. But now with that circle on there, it still looks like a snow globe with the white base and the border around it. I think it looks quite nice. And then my 18 pops nicely on that. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Really like how that looks. And then I want to create the rest of the pockets. I also want to have that kind of see-through element. So I'm just going through all my bits and pieces of chipboard and wood veneer and whatnot and finding pieces that I like. My challenge is finding pieces that will look nice from both sides. So I really don't like just to have like raw chipboard or, you know, the backs of things showing through on the other side. So I've just added a little bit of sticky tape or adhesive tape to that wood veneer present and checking to see that it looks okay from the other side, and it does, so I'm happy. And then I'm adding some of these puffies from the Rosie Studio collection, that little tree and that phrase, because I know I have more of those exact ones. So this phrase I will just stick on the back, and then another tree, so they look just as nice from both sides. And then on the back of that other little phrase chipboard, I'm going to stick one of the little phrase stickers from the sticker book. And that's that done. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to pop that in. And then while I am on a roll, I'm just going to continue with the next day. So joining you again shortly. Right, so moving on to this day. I went to the shops with one of my best friends. So that is the photo I have for that day. So we went shopping, we had coffee and whatnot, so I'm going to put that photo on this page. I'm not sure if I'm going to trim it down maybe a little bit, not too much. I've already got this acetate with this vinyl decal over the top of it as part of my foundation pages, so I think I'll just sit over the top. And then over here I just want to put a couple of photos. I have a photo of I think the kids' baby chinos. So I'm just having a look on my computer here because I haven't printed these little ones out yet. They're just on my computer still. So I've got a photo of yeah, the kids' baby chino, and then I have a photo of us having coffee at the cafe. So I'm going to put those photos there, and then maybe one of these squares I'll save for journaling. And then yeah, this page will be pretty simple because it's mostly taken up with a photo. So that'll be nice and simple. So that is day 19. We're already getting pretty chunky, so I think I'm just going to keep this spread pretty simple. Alrighty, so first thing I'm going to do is trim down these smaller photos to go in my little pocket page. Just a photo of one of the little baby chinos, like I said, and then my friend posing with a glitter. I don't know why she had that hat. Might have been for one of her kids' dress-ups or something, I don't know, but yeah, it was funny anyway. So I'm just going to stick these onto the back of the ones that are on the other side. You could just put them in separately, but I don't like it when things move around in the pocket and you kind of see things coming through from the back. I just like to stick them all together, and then there's no kind of odd border coming from the other side. So like that. And then I actually did go in off camera kind of as I was finishing up the album, and I put some staples in these pockets, just little teeny tiny attacher staples through the photo and the pocket, just to kind of make sure that they don't come out, because they were trying to slide out of the pockets every now and then. So now I'm just backing this one with some pattern paper, I think, yes. It's more of that peachy polka dot color, and I'm going to use that for my number. Just using the same numbers, those glitter, white glitter numbers that I've used throughout the album. And they are thickers. They did have adhesive on them, but I've peeled off at least half of the layers of chipboard to make them thinner. So that's why I have to use glue. So I'm just going back through again here and just kind of sharpening up that crease once again. They are sitting a lot flatter now that the album has been finished for a while and is sitting closed and, you know, compressing it. So just something to keep in mind. I'm coming in now. I just thought this was looking a little bit boring, so I'm just using my Uniball Signo board in white to create a sketchy border, and it wasn't cooperating with me very well. I love that pen, but it does, yeah, it's temperamental. Okay, so now I'm moving on to this page, and I am going to take out this piece of pattern paper that I had in for one of my foundation pages, because I knew I pretty much wasn't going to use it on the Christmas Day, which is where I had it. I just wanted something that would show this vinyl a little bit better. Not that it really matters, because a photo is going to go behind it, but it does show up the stars on the acetate a lot better because it's more of a solid color than that kind of white and black speckly pattern. So I've just trimmed the photo down. I'm going to add a very simple white photo mat just so that it stands out from that bright pink background paper. Pretty large photo, so even though I've trimmed it down, it's still taking up most of the page, so I don't need to do too much decorating. I'm going to add another one of these titles just to kind of tie together with the previous page. I'm just putting happy in the uppercase letters over my photo, and then I'm going to put the, I think it says holidays, yeah, the scripty holidays in below. And I'm mucking around quite a bit with this just because I want to make sure that the loops on the top of the scripty word fit with the letters on the photo, if that makes sense. And then I'll stick my photo down now that I'm happy with the placement. There we go. And I'm just adding a bit of hand lettering under here. I think it just says with our friends. And then I went in off camera with my sewing machine and I did a white stitched border all the way around the outside just for a bit of something extra because, like I said, this page is going to be pretty simple. Adding in some more of those glittery reinforcers just to keep everything, yeah, you know, tying in together, carrying that element throughout the album. And then more clear stickers because I haven't used many of these black clear stickers yet, so I'm just going to sprinkle these around the outside of the photo, tucking them in behind and laying them over the top. We're both wearing black in the photo and the black stands out really nice on that pink, so taking the opportunity to try and use some of those up. And then I will add some of these clear stars as well. And some more of these gold puffy stars again, just to try and keep everything kind of tying in together. Just move that one up a little bit. And then I'll sprinkle in a few of these little blue puffy stars as well. Just for an extra colour. I just felt like it needed a little bit of extra colour. And then I'll bring in a third pop of that blue with that little banner at the top of the photo. And I'll just stick that down with some adhesive tape. And that is pretty much it, I think. I'm just going to pop that back in the album now. I was very excited at this point to be getting close to finished. I'm just going to give you a little overview of these past couple of days. You can see there those little flip-ups trying to squeeze their way out the top of the pocket. So I do go in, like I said, with those staples later. But that's it, that's finished. So I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to keep checking back for the next installment, which will be coming soon. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.